What's going on there, guys? My name is Chewy, or Matt, as most of you will know me as, and today back with another video today and an awesome announcement which I am very excited to finally tell you guys about. I've kind of had this in my mind and in my thoughts for a little while, and have basically eventually decided to pull the trigger. With a new year 2017 coming in, I have decided to do something new on the stream. We're still going to be flying as usual, but I have decided to do a tour. I'm going to call it Tour Tuesdays. Yes, I know, very generic kind of title, but still, I thought it would be a good bit of alliteration to use for the title. And we are going to be doing, at first, a tour around Europe. If it's successful, potentially I could move it over to the Americas, and then maybe even do a whole world tour if it really starts to kick off. But I just felt like it would be nice to have some more of a structure so that viewers on the channel know that every week on a Tuesday at 6 to 7 p.m. I'll be going live, and I'll be flying the next leg or the next two legs, depending on the length of the flights, around Europe for the tour. So on the screen now, you can see the entirety of the route. There's just one airport up the top, which I'll show you a bit later, which isn't included on the screen. But here is the route. We start off at London Heathrow to kick us off. It's basically my home airport. It's the closest one to me where I currently live. And it's a nice big, one to start off with and to end with. Again, I know it's generic, but it's a beautiful airport and it should be good. And so I'll be using the Aerosoft Heathrow scenery for that. We head straight into Scandinavia, and the first flight completes itself at Fly Tampers, Copenhagen. An absolutely beautiful scenery. And this is kind of the point that a lot of the sceneries and places that I've chosen are either because, throughout the 2016 year, I've really enjoyed flying to this scenery, or I've really enjoyed the approach and the departure and all of those types of things. So that was the kind of basis with what I went off, and Copenhagen is always a good choice. Moving up, I could have gone to Oslo, but I really love the approach into Bergen, whichever way you go. So we're off to ENBR Bergen next, which again is Aerosoft scenery. That is on the west coast of Norway. Back across over to Stockholm Arlanda. Most of you may know that my favorite scenery in the entirety of my sim is Orbeck Stockholm Arlanda. And so, of course, I had to include that one on the leg. So we'll be heading to Stockholm from Bergen. And then going up further north, we're off to Rovaniemi. This is freeware scenery, and I believe actually the only freeware scenery on the European tour. But again, a beautiful area to go and visit, especially when it's wintertime and it's snowy everywhere, and the amount of sunlight with only a couple of hours of the sun being up in northern Finland at that time of year will be a really nice one. Then we go down to Helsinki, which is the capital of Finland. Again, it's Aerosoft scenery. Nice scenery, one of my favorite Aerosoft sceneries. I've got a couple of issues with it at the moment, so I may need to reinstall it and give it another go, because it was giving me some weird errors the other day. But still, that's a really nice flight from Rovaniemi down to Helsinki. I've done it on stream before, and I just thought it would be another good one to repeat in the future for the tour. Then moving down, we continue south and head into Poland. Now, I was really actually struggling here to decide where to go, because we've obviously got Warsaw, which I've got the scenery for. We've got Gdansk, and there are other places as well that I've got scenery for, such as Rzeszów and Lublin and Katowice there as well. And I basically decided to go with Gdansk just because I really like the fact that it's on the northern coast, and it is a really fun airport to fly in and out of. I've not done it for a little while, and so I just went with Gdansk at the end, and that should be a good one. And that is, of course, Drzecki design scenery there. We then continue on south into the Czech Republic and go to the capital, which is Prague, Aerosoft Prague. That is another really nice airport that I don't really show too much on the stream, but it was in a nice kind of central location here. And so I thought it would be a good place to stop off at. We then head into Germany for the first and only time during this trip. I've got a lot of German sceneries, but I thought, you know what, Chewy, let's just keep it simple with Germany. We fly there a lot, so we're only going to do one, and we are off to Frankfurt. Again, Aerosoft Frankfurt, they released the new one not too long ago. Not the best on performance, but visually it's pretty darn stunning, and I do love flying there. Continue on south into Austria to one of my favorite sceneries, one of my favorite approaches, and one of my favorite departures, which is Salzburg, L-O-W-S, and that is actually digital design scenery. I believe it's the only time digital design have a scenery in the European tour, but it's absolutely beautiful, great on performance as well. So I definitely wanted to go and check that one out. We continue south and head into Croatia for our first of two stops into Croatia. And this time we're going to LDSP or Split, which is, once again, believe it or not, Aerosoft scenery. Yes, I know. a lot of Aerosoft. They just do release a lot of European sceneries. And so we'll be heading down to Split. Again, beautiful arrival, beautiful airport to go and visit. And you can get some really interesting weather conditions there as well. So that will be a great fun visit, as it always is, down to Croatia there. Heading across back to the east, we go to Romania, and namely Bucharest, Aflosim Bucharest. Again, not the best with night lighting. It's got a couple of weird glitches, but the scenery is still nice. And it's a lovely bit of the world to go and visit. So I thought we would make a quick stop off at Bucharest before heading further down south once again and into Greece, namely Thessaloniki this time. Beautiful Aerosoft scenery. Once again, I know I've probably been saying beautiful scenery like repeatedly in this video, so I do apologize about that. But still, it's kind of one of the staple map in Greece. I've got a lot of sceneries in Greece. I've got Skiathos, Kos, we've got Athens itself. There's so much around here that we could go to fly to. But Thessaloniki is kind of one of those staple sceneries that I always have fun visiting. And so I thought it would be a really nice one to continue and have on this tour. Heading across, furthest airport to the east of the entirety of the tour is Istanbul. Taxi to Gate Istanbul. Weirdly enough, Taxi to Gate, my favorite scenery makers, are actually only in this entire tour once. I've also got other scenery from them with Munich and stuff, but as I said earlier on, we're only going to Germany once, and I had to include some Taxi to Gate somewhere. So Istanbul is going to be the next stop from Thessaloniki. Moving down, we've got another one, which I haven't actually shown on stream at the time of recording this. I'm sure I will in the near future, but this is Samos, Aerosoft Samos scenery. Absolutely gorgeous. A really nice place to visit, and I'm really looking forward to showing that one. And I think it's actually, it's not the furthest south airport that we go to, but it's not too far off that. And so that's kind of in the Greek island area, just off Turkey, Samos there, you can see on the screen. Moving across, we completely miss Athens, sorry. And as I said, all of the other airports that I've got, and we go over to another one, which is kind of a given. It had to be on here. It is LGKR, or Fly Tampa's Corfu scenery. This one is always an absolutely beautiful approach and departure. I love the scenery a heck of a lot, as do people on my stream, especially last time when I had to do 2 go-arounds because I was just all over the place. And so that one's going to be really fun. So we'll be off from beautiful Samos to beautiful Corfu. Continuing down south, we finally get into kind of Sicily in the Italian area, and we go down to Palermo, another kind of staple one for me, which I just had to include on this tour. There was no way I was missing it out because I adore the approach. I adore the scenery down there. And that is a Jetstream Designs scenery down in Palermo. We head slightly back up north and to the east once again, back into Croatia. I believe Dubrovnik is still in Croatia. If I am wrong with that, then hashtag blame Chewy. But we are off to Dubrovnik yet again. Orbeck scenery this time, like with Stockholm Arlanda. And that's going to be a fun one. So that's our second destination in Croatia. Back west, and we head to northern Italy. I've got so much scenery in Italy once again. We've got Bari, we've got Pescara, we've got Rome, Fiumicino. I've got, where else have I got? Milan. I've got 2 in Milan. I've got Verona. There's so much here. I've got Turin as well. And out of all of them, I thought we could really go and do some tiny little hops around Italy, but is it really worth it? So let's choose something that's probably one of my favorites. And it was a really tough call between Milan Bergamo and Genoa. Now, Genoa is scenery that I got recently, and I just fell in love with the approach of it. There's an offset ILS approach, which hopefully we'll do when we get to that leg of the trip. And it's pretty spectacular. I did do a YouTube video on that and uploaded it to YouTube from a stream highlight not too long ago. So feel free to go and check that one out if you've not seen the Genoa scenery yet. It is pretty darn special. Further south, we go to another scenery that I've used a lot on the stream and everybody seems to enjoy all the time, is Palma de Mallorca. I'm still yet to do the approach into the airport through the kind of bay and the harbour area. I'm not really too sure what this is. I'm always doing the approaches in from the, from the actual land of Palma de Mallorca itself, which is a bit annoying. It's still beautiful, but I really just want to go around the bay and do this kind of approach here for the first time. And it's a beautiful little stop-off point as we get into the Spanish region of the tour. Moving down, we've got Aerosoft Gibraltar scenery. Again, something I've not really shown on the stream, but it's a really, really brilliant airport. I was debating whether I wanted to go to Portugal and maybe go and visit Faro, but Gibraltar is just one of those approaches and one of those airports that is famous across the globe. And I thought it would be, I don't know, a bit of a crime to miss it out, really, if we're, you know, looking at airports and trying to find places that are really good to fly to and from. We move back up north, still in Spain again, our final stop in the Spanish region of Valencia. I just love Valencia scenery. It's as simple as that. It's gorgeous. Barcelona scenery's recently been released, so maybe I could have chosen that instead. But in all honesty, I just prefer Valencia. Simple as that. We carry all the way up north once again now and into our second stop in Austria, which is to Innsbruck. Again, I've shown a departure out of Innsbruck on my stream, but I've never shown an arrival on it yet. And I'm definitely going to save it to this occasion because it could be quite an interesting one if we do that visual approach for runway 08, I think it is. That will be a very fun one indeed. And again, some of you may be wondering, well, Chewy, why have you got so many, you know, sceneries in Germany and not so many in Austria? But you're only going to Germany once and you're going to Austria twice. Again, instead of really worrying too much about how many places I'm visiting in how many countries, I was more worried about having sceneries that were really going to be enjoyable for people to watch on the stream, and journeys where you've got beautiful approaches and really nice places to look out the window the entirety of the trip, really, which sounds cheesy, but you know. Moving across to the west, we go back a short little distance. I think it's only about 200 nautical miles or so to Geneva, which is a really fun FS Dream Team scenery, one of my favorites from them. And we've also got friends who control there, so I thought I'd pay them a visit. Moving up, scenery that's not really being used too much is Paris Beauvais Airport. It's a Ryanair hub, pretty much Ryanair, one of the only people who actually fly out of there in real life. But I wanted to stop off somewhere in France. We've got nowhere in France whatsoever. I've got very little scenery here at the moment. And as we head on to the, you know, the penultimate leg back into the UK and back into London Heathrow, it just made sense to stop off there. You can see it's kind of in this straight line right back up to London. So we'll make a quick stop at Paris, Paris Beauvais, and then finally, the final leg back into London Heathrow. If my math is correct, which it very rarely is, that is a total of 25 legs on the entirety of the trip. And as you'll also hopefully will have noticed, none of these lines are like crossing over each other. And that was something that I don't know why I made that decision to do that, but I just thought it would look cool if it was kind of in this, you know, shape where I didn't cross over any of the lines that we've visited before. So it's basically going to be new sights out the window with every single leg that we do, even if we are very, very close to scenery that we've seen before. On another note as well, there is a chance that this may change. This is revision 1, and I am pretty darn keen on keeping it like this. However, it is December, and there are rumors going around that there are new sceneries on the upcoming, you know, they're on the upcoming, that doesn't even make sense, but they are upcoming and imminent to release. If they do release, there will be maybe 1 or 2 legs that will be changed. Notably of that, I will probably get rid of Paris Beauvais, and we are hoping, I'm crossing my fingers, that Taxi to Gate are going to be releasing Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport, which will definitely have to make it onto the journey. And so I'll just switch from one Paris airport to the other, and we'll go from Geneva to Paris Charles de Gaulle. Also, everybody is hotly anticipating Fly Tampa's Amsterdam scenery. I'm not too sure when that's coming out, but there are lots of screenshots for it and lots of hype about that. So if that comes out, then I'll go from one of the Paris airports up to Amsterdam and then back to London. This map is available for all of you guys to go and have a look at yourself, so you can have a look at all of the airports. And what I'm going to do to help you guys out even further is that if you want to join me on the tour and you want the sceneries, whenever you click on the airport, I've not popped it in yet, but I'm going to have a link there for you guys to go and get the scenery. I've already got a full Google document, Excel spreadsheet with all of my sceneries and all of the links to where you can purchase them. But if you want to join me on any legs of the tour and you want to pick up the scenery, all you'll need to do is click on the location itself, and I'll make sure that there is a link in this little white section here again, which I need to fill in with the URL so you can go and check it out yourself. This tour is going to start on Tuesday, the 3rd of January. It is going to be a 2017 thing, hence why you can see in the top left, Chewy 2017 European tour. So we're kicking off the new year in style with a grand tour of Europe, and it will continue every single Tuesday until we reach our final destination of London. And then who knows, maybe we'll head across the pond and do some flying in the United States, Canada, and maybe Southern America as well. We shall see. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this video and you do like the sound of my European Grand Tour, please leave a like, comment down in the comment section below, and also subscribe to the channel. We are well on our way to 3,000 followers now, which is unbelievable considering it only felt like yesterday that we hit 2,000. Thanks so much for the support, guys. I'm very excited for this long-ass trip. It's going to be fun. On that note, thanks for watching, guys. See you again soon. Happy landings.